Hello, my name is Brendan and I will be your host for Dog Care Isn't Rough. On this program, you'll be learning some of the basics of dog care. Brianna and Albany have questions for local veterinarians.
What kind of food is best for dogs?
Different dogs in different ages need different kinds of food, just like with people. Food is often medicine as well as food because it can make animals healthy or not. So you want the very best food, and you want the food that's recommended by your veterinarian for the health condition of your animal, whether it's a little baby puppy or a very old geriatric dog.
How much food do dogs need?
Often many of our dogs are way too fat, and it's because they eat too much food and don't get enough exercise. So we want to feed them enough food to keep them nice and healthy, but not so much that they get fat. I recommend that dogs are fed once or twice a day unless they're a baby puppy, and then they need to be fed more often. And then you feed them just enough to keep them slim and trim and healthy.
How many times a day should they be fed?
It depends on how old an animal is, how many times a day they should be fed, and also what the needs of the animal are. Little baby puppies need to be fed 3 to 4 times a day, and as they get older, those can be narrowed smaller down to twice a day. Some animals do fine with once a day.
What foods are dangerous or poisonous to dogs?
If you're eating grapes, you should not feed those to your dog. And onions, cooked onions is another thing that you shouldn't feed. A lot of dogs don't do well with high fatty foods, and I don't recommend that you feed those. They're not really poisonous, but they can be too much for a dog's system. So that would be ham or barbecue, any of the really rich fatty foods.
How much water do dogs need?
You should always have lots of fresh, clean drinking water so they can drink as much as they need to. And if you notice that your dog is drinking more water than they usually do, then you should get them checked out, because that can be an indication that there's a problem with them.
Is it safe to give dogs ice?
If you have your dog on a diet and need to give them a treat and you don't want to give them calories, ice is a great one. It's also great in the summertime to give them ice.
Why do dogs need attention?
Same reason we do. It's fun, and they get lonesome and bored.
How much attention do dogs need?
Some dogs that are older still very active and need lots of exercise and attention, and other dogs are fine to just lay around. But the younger the dog, the more attention they need, the more guidance they need, much like children.
What kind of attention do dogs need?
You sort of have 3 categories of attention: training for manners, and then fun exercise to drain energy, and then attention that teaches them or works out things that they get to do as a job. If that's tricks, or going to get the newspaper, or answering the doorbell, or picking something up off the floor for their owner, any of those kinds of things that makes the dog feel like they are an important part of the family.
What kind of exercise do dogs need?
A good exercise for a dog is one that is fun and also causes them to move around in lots of different directions. Dogs need different kinds of exercise depending on the kind of dog they are and the age they are. They need exercise to drain their energy because otherwise they get in too much mischief, and they also need exercise in order to stay nice and fit and healthy.
How often do dogs need exercise?
Every single day. And you can't think that because your dog is in a backyard that he's exercising himself. So a dog should be put on a leash and walked outside your yard, around the block, or to the park every day. And best is twice a day.
What kind of shelter do dogs need?
Dogs need shelter from the sun and from the rain and from the cold. So if you have your dog has a doghouse outside, you need to make sure that the door is not facing the north where the wind would come in and blow right on him. I like for dogs to be inside at night with the people. It makes them a better part of the household, makes them bond with their family, and also keeps them nice and safe. In the summertime, it's critical that the dogs are in the shade and that they have shelter from the sun. Plenty of fresh water.
Do dogs need sun protection?
Sun protection, absolutely. And the thinner the coat, the shorter-haired dogs need more sun protection than the dogs with lots of thick hair. Now, the dogs with lots of thick hair can get into trouble from overheating, but the dogs with thin coats can actually get sunburnt. And I have seen dogs in my clinic that have been out and gotten sunburnt and blistered the whole back down there. So you have to be very careful with your dogs in the summertime that they can get into the shade.
What is the best way to protect dogs from fleas?
The best way to protect an animal from fleas is to see your veterinarian about products that will help protect the dog. And then there's some natural products that you can use in your yard or in your house to help keep the fleas from multiplying there.
What vaccinations do dogs need?
Dogs need vaccinations much like people do to protect them from diseases that dogs get. There's some viruses and bacteria that we have vaccinations for. There's a core set of vaccines that we recommend for all dogs, distemper, parvo, and rabies. And your veterinarian will put your dog on the appropriate schedule to make sure that they stay vaccinated and healthy.
Do dogs need dental care?
Either their owner needs to brush their teeth or they need to go to the veterinarian more frequently in order to get their teeth clean. Often if they're eating the right kibble food or if they get treats that help to keep their teeth clean, those kinds of things will help to keep their teeth clean as well. But they definitely need to get either toothbrushing or dentals done sometimes during their life.
We visited Galveston Veterinary Clinic to observe dog exams. At the beginning of the exam, the dog is a little bit nervous. Now the dog is getting her teeth examined. Then the dog gets its eye examined. Next, the dog gets her ears checked. Now the doctor listens to the dog's heartbeat. After that, the doctor checks the dog's lymph nodes and the dog's throat. The doctor then checks the dog's toenails and makes sure that the dog's toes aren't swollen. Last, the doctor checks the dog's bottom and weighs the dog. This dog is a little bit overweight, so the doctor suggests she get more exercise and possibly a bit less food. Bernard and Leah learn about animal shelters.
Why do animals go to shelters?
Animals come to shelters for a variety of reasons. Sometimes they come in because they're lost or people can't keep them any longer, and they bring them to us to find new homes. They are strays, just looking for their families.
How long do they stay there?
If we're lucky, we're able to find their homes and get them back as soon as possible. But after 72 hours, we evaluate them and decide if we want to put them up for adoption. And if we put them up for adoption, then we keep them as long as it takes to find them a new home.
What is spaying and neutering?
That means that they will have surgery so that they won't be reproducing, and hopefully that will eliminate the number of animals that are homeless, enabling us to find homes for all the animals that we currently have. The population of animals is so high at this time, and there are not enough families for all of them. So if you spay or neuter your pets, then that will enable us to provide homes for more animals.
For more information, you can go to your local humane society, your local veterinarian, or your local library.